These haunted hospitals will send a chill down your spine. Unexplained encounters have left even the most enthusiastic paranormal investigators lost for words. The Waverly Hills Sanatorium, now Waverly Hills Sanatorium, located in Louisville, Kentucky, was open to house the growing number of tuberculosis patients. Due to a lack of medical knowledge at the time, patients were kept outside year-round for fresh air, and many had their lungs surgically removed. It is known as one of the most haunted places on Earth, with countless reports of paranormal activity. One person actually shared their experience working there and said, "I worked in the sanatorium for a while, and a lot of residents always, claim to hallucinate either small dogs or, either eating ice cream before they pass away. It's always facility specific too. This place I worked at, I've had about 6 or 7 residents claim to see a little girl eating ice cream and then they pass on later that night. That seems too coincidental for me, right? The Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, now home to the WV lobotomy project, the psychiatric hospital was originally built for 250 patients, but the population rose to over 2,000. Conditions were atrocious, and many patients, suffered. Since closing its doors, maintenance staff have reported ghosts as well as other paranormal sightings. Numerous stories and reports of ghostly phenomena have been associated with the asylum. Some of the more prominent stories include a little girl named Lily who is said to roam the halls, a man named Jesse who allegedly passed away in a bathtub there, and other accounts of strange occurrences and apparitions. Now, one person who worked there shared their story on Reddit. They said, "One evening while training for the job, I was on the first floor with a couple coworkers while everyone else was touring upstairs. We were just kind of, wasting time, quietly observing the area. Light from outside was coming in through the windows, casting on the inner hall's wall. In that light, I watched the perfect silhouette of a man from head to hip walk through that light from left to right." She continued to say, in the wee hours of another night, we figured it would be cool to see what would happen if we shut all the doors of the ward. One of the doors, as I was closing it, the knob twisted in on my hand. This person actually shared several different stories of her times there and all of the paranormal stuff that actually went down. And a lot of the comment section was people just sharing their own stories of times that they took a tour there. It's still actually available for tours, so if this has piqued your interest, go book a visit if you dare. Utica State Hospital, New York's first state-run psychiatric facility built in 1843, was characterized by its grandiose revival architecture, but it was not as glamorous as it looked. It is known for the invention of the Utica crib, which is a cage-like bed that was used to restrain patients. Now, those who have explored the facility since its closing have reported hearing screams and seeing faces in the windows. People who have explored the facility both during its active years and after its closure have reported experiencing just other unsettling phenomena as well, that is basically unexplainable. One visitor said they went and heard nothing but weeping and sobbing, which is a common thing apparently. Most people have heard this as well. Now, most have said this place just feels like lingering spirits, and have felt kind of hands brush against them. Most people said they were skeptics before visiting Utica, but now they are full-blown believers. The Danvers State Hospital, built on the same grounds where the Salem witch trials occurred, Danvers State Hospital possesses a very rich history of paranormal lore. It was originally intended to treat the mentally ill with respect and compassion, but this facility quickly became overcrowded and conditions deteriorated. It is said that Arkham Asylum from Batman was based on this institution. Now, the hospital's history of mistreatment, neglect, and trauma is believed to have left a very lasting impact on the land. Even in passing, the patients were not treated with dignity, with many headstones only having numbers instead of names. Now, the immense suffering of the patients is thought to have lingered, contributing to the ghostly activity there. Visitors report a variety of paranormal experiences like screaming, banging, and crying, apparitions and disembodied voices, particularly in the cemeteries there. Now, deep black shadows and grayish mists there also. Many people have said just an overall sensation of being watched or followed. The 2 cemeteries on the property are considered hotspots for paranormal activity, with apparitions and voices just being the most common reports there. Alton Mental Health Center. Now, the Alton Mental Health Center in Illinois is the only facility on this list still in operation today. Once home to cold water treatment, electroshock therapy, and lobotomies, this hospital is notorious for its mistreatment of patients. Like many other hospitals of the time, time, the hospital was also a working farm. It was believed that the work and responsibility was necessary in the treatment of mental health crises. Now, Alton State Hospital became well known for its gorgeous grounds. Patients were allowed to care for the cattle and other animals and plants, which included a well-stocked fish pond, apple orchard, and even tobacco crops. Now, one patient even grew peanuts, which they then sold in Upper Alton. Now, in 1918, the hospital recognized the need for an attached cemetery for those who passed away and were unknown or unclaimed. Later, though, the hospital was even used to house, shell-shocked soldiers coming home from the horrors of World War I. Alton State Hospital earned a reputation, though, for mistreating patients, subjecting them to crude treatments that sometimes lasted hours or even days. Considered cutting-edge treatment at the time would be labeled as torment today. Now, in modern times, many people, have reported paranormal interactions, including 2 nurses who heard a voice whispering to them in the same spot. Staff and visitors report hearing unusual sounds, disembodied voices, slamming doors, and nurses on duty reported hearing a quiet voice that asked them, "Who is that?" Others report the sensation of just being touched, and one photo even showed a bright orb with a vision of a man's face in agony. So while the facility, is still operational today, ghost investigators who managed to visit are told by spirits to get out, promptly being pushed out of the room. Rolling Hills Asylum, located in upstate New York, Rolling Hills Asylum was originally known as the Genesee County Poor Farm. Established in 1827, the Genesee County Poorhouse, originally a working farm, soon became a refuge for some of society's less fortunate. Widows and orphans mingled with the mentally ill, and the unclaimed passed on were buried on the property. With over 1,700 documented demises and hundreds not recorded, it's no wonder, Haunted North America rated it as the second most haunted site in the United States. Throughout its history, it's operated as an orphanage, infirmary, sanatorium, and a nursing home. Now, thousands of unmarked bodies are buried here, and the facility has been featured on many TV shows. Today, it is part of the Haunted History Trail of New York State. One person did share their experience visiting on Reddit and said, "My fiance took me on a 6-hour unguided ghost hunt for my birthday at Rolling Hills Asylum. These photos were taken right when we began our investigation at 8:41 p.m. They have timestamps. I was walking down the first floor hallway past the infamous ramps. Out of the corner of my eye, I thought I saw someone peek their head out of a room. I checked in the room, assuming it was probably someone else exploring. I was alone. I stopped and snapped some pictures after I reviewed the photos later on in the night and realized I had caught a shadow in the doorway. I saw someone poking their head out. Ooh, that gave me chills." Eloise Psychiatric Hospital. Like Rolling Hills, Eloise Psychiatric Hospital was originally a poorhouse located in Wayne County, Michigan. It grew, to become a massive complex with over 50 buildings. It housed a variety of patients, including those with mental illnesses and chronic medical conditions. The hospital was known for its often very brutal and inhumane treatments, including lobotomies, hydrotherapy, and other methods that are now considered unethical. Ghost stories have plagued its reputation, and human remains have been found in jars on the premises. Widely accepted by locals to be haunted, it was sold to basically create a new housing complex in 2018. Many people, including those who have worked at or investigated the property, have reported experiencing paranormal, experiences such as seeing ghosts, hearing whispers, witnessing objects moving on their own. So, the Eloise Asylum has been transformed now into a haunted attraction, offering tours and escape room experiences that, leverage the building's reputation for paranormal activity. The asylum is currently actually being considered for a $4 million renovation, with plans to convert it into a haunted hotel, which further emphasizes this reputation as a haunted location. The Royal Hope Hospital. Last on my list is the Royal Hope Hospital. This hospital was a Spanish military hospital in St. Augustine, Florida, in use from 1784 to 1821. One of the oldest hospitals in Florida, the Royal Hope Hospital has been an integral part of Florida's history since its original building was constructed, all the way back in the late 1700s. St. Augustine is the oldest city in Florida, so it's no surprise that Royal Hope calls, Old City home. Now, the original building was demolished and a replica was later constructed, at which point it was discovered to be built upon a Native American burial ground. Now, there have been many sightings, of ghosts and reports of objects moving on their own. The surgeon's office is actually said to be the most haunted. This room is home to a spirit who likes to grab onto visitors' clothes and refuses to let them go. His grasp is described as basically freezing cold, hard, and forceful. One visitor stated that she could actually feel a large hand gripping her clothing, refusing to let her go. The only way to shake it off was to run out of the room as quickly as possible. Luckily, the clingy spirit didn't follow her out. Well, that's it for today. Have you visited any of these haunted hospitals? Let me know. Thanks for watching. watching. I'm your host, Ashley. Until next time, stay scared.